I, 37 male, have been married to my wife, 36, for 12 years, and we also have 2 children. A couple of years ago, I was admittedly going through some mental health issues, and I lost myself physically. The work pressure was getting to me, and overall, I just wasn't feeling great. I gained some weight. I wasn't going to the gym and eating a lot. Our intimate life rapidly declined, and my wife constantly turned down my advances. Deep down, I knew the issue was because she didn't find me attractive anymore. After asking her multiple times for the real reason for her rejection, she admitted that she couldn't find me attractive anymore, even though she loved me. That was the single most damaging statement anyone has ever said to me, and my wife instantly said she didn't mean it and apologized for saying that, but I told her it was okay. From then on, I started attending online therapy, which massively helped me. I started getting my diet in control and going to the gym. It's been a couple of years and I'm admittedly much healthier, both mentally and physically, compared to a couple of years ago. I'm the most physically fit I've ever been in my life, and I've learned not to take work so seriously, which has helped me greatly. However, my wife's damaging statement still lives inside me. We've not had intimacy since that statement, and I've rejected it every time. I just don't feel emotionally safe around her. I've also struck up a friendship at work with a coworker, 35 female, who said she went through similar issues after she gave birth to her baby. Her husband made a similar damaging statement about her body, and it's lived in her mind ever since. She explained that this was just not what love was, and it opened my eyes. My wife gained a lot of weight after giving birth to our children, but I still loved her and found her attractive when she gained the weight, and I probably loved her even more then. My coworker made me realize that my wife was not someone I want to be with when I'm older, when I have gray hair, when I have wrinkles, etc. Last night I told her I wanted to talk to her about something I was feeling. I just bluntly told her I was no longer in love with her. My wife was shocked, and she started crying and instantly left the room. Seeing her cry like that made me feel really guilty. Was I the idiot? Should I have not said that? I'm not in love with her anymore. I just don't know how else I could have said that to my wife. You are the idiot. She didn't want to tell you. You pulled it out of her, then made yourself the victim. You're having an emotional affair with a coworker. Your wife said she wasn't attracted to you, and it wasn't just due to weight, I'm guessing, but still loved you. She stayed with you through your struggles. You've gotten better, and now you just want to toss her aside because you're resentful because she told you the truth that you asked for. Attraction comes and goes in long-term relationships. It's what you do during these times that defines you. Was your wife as disloyal as you've been? You should go grab her, hug her, and beg her for forgiveness for being an idiot, to be honest. It's definitely an emotional affair, and it's going to be darn rich when OP figures out his coworker is nothing special. She just doesn't come with the responsibility and obligation of a spouse and family. Of course she's irresistible. She's not asking you to change a diaper. Funny how OP thinks his coworker has shown him the light that his wife isn't safe. Meanwhile, his wife stood by him this entire time. And where exactly was this coworker before OP got his crap together? The second his affair partner wants more from him, he's going to panic. Guaranteed. The OP is 100% having an emotional affair, yet he wants to try and justify it as a friendship. Yeah, okay, bud. How stupid does he think we are? People come in here and think they can say, my spouse hurt me, so I started talking to this friend at work, and they're everything I need. And we don't see right through that. His wife had put up with this whole mental crisis, which is exhausting. I can almost promise you that gaining weight was not the only issue. Coming home and taking his work stress out on her was most possibly the issue. OP is dead wrong. And he knows he's wrong. That's why he's on here looking for emotional backup from strangers who tell him he's all great and stuff when he's such an idiot. People will always leave a partner who fills 90% of their needs for someone who fills the other 10%, but lacks the 90%, and wonder why they're chronically unhappy after a year, and wonder why they're chronically unhappy after a year. My 27 female daughter, toddler, had a birthday last month, and my mother-in-law, 72, was planning to give her an expensive necklace that had been in her family for almost 100 years. According to her, it belongs to my daughter because it was always given to the first daughter of the firstborn son. Honestly, I don't like the idea that only one of my daughters has something valuable and the other doesn't. We have an infant daughter too. So I told my mother-in-law that I appreciated her intention, but that I didn't want to continue with the tradition, knowing that in the future it could lead to fights between my daughters. And of course, she was offended. My husband, 49, said that I should have accepted the gift and that in the future we could buy a similar necklace for our other daughter. But I told him that it's not the same for me, that I didn't want the necklace. Our toddler daughter would be happier with a $10 doll than a necklace that's probably worth about $15,000. A necklace that, by the way, she will not be able to wear until she's at least 18 years old. Long story short, my husband understood, but the rest of his family thinks I was rude in rejecting a gift with so much sentimental value. However, I don't think that's the case. If they had told me that the necklace was for all the girls, I would have accepted it. But they have this stupid rule that it only belongs to the firstborn daughter and that she can't give it to anyone else. And they put a lot of emphasis on that. And that's what bothers me the most, because they act like my oldest daughter is some kind of saint, and they rarely pay attention to my youngest daughter. Am I the idiot? It was very rude. Plus, it's not your place to decline. The gift wasn't to you. It was to your daughter. You should have graciously accepted it and told your mother-in-law that you would put it somewhere safe until your daughter was old enough to responsibly care for it on her own. What will you say if she tries gifting it again when your daughter turns 18? Try to interfere then as well? Or what if she gives it to someone else and your daughter later learns that you intentionally kept her from participating in a long-held family tradition? You are the idiot. It also sounds like OP has a favorite, but it's not the eldest. Your mother-in-law is 72. By the time your daughter's 18, your mother-in-law will be 87 if she's still here. She probably wanted to give it to her now, before her health or memory went downhill. Your daughter will not forgive you if you don't let her get the necklace. She may not want it now, but it will be important later in life. Trust me. Also, there's a gross age gap. How old were you when you started dating your nearly 50-year-old boyfriend? Definitely, you are the idiot. And you should apologize to your middle-aged husband. My younger half-sister, Leah, 19, is getting married. Our dad and her mom are paying for the wedding, and this will come in a bit later. I, 27 female, was asked by Leah if she could borrow a necklace I wore on my wedding day, which was my mom's before me, which she wore to her wedding to my dad. This was a sore topic. Even though my mom wanted all her jewelry to go to me, Dad gave Leah a few things when she was a child. He told me I had no say in the matter, and he loved my mom and wanted both his daughters to have pieces of her, even though Leah was not my mom's child. I still dislike that she has some of my mom's jewelry, but I know Dad has built her up to see it as something sweet. So when she asked me to borrow the necklace I wore on my wedding day, and Mom wore on hers, it stung again. I told her she couldn't borrow that, but I offered to let her borrow some of my jewelry, stuff that isn't connected to my mom. Leah told me that wasn't fair, and she wanted to get married matching me on my wedding day in some way. She asked if I'd feel differently if Dad and her mom weren't paying for it. She told me she knows I don't like her parents, and she doesn't think I should take it out on her. I said, no, that's not it. It's that I don't want to share my mom's jewelry with her. I never wanted her to have some of my mom's stuff. That was all, Dad. And I wasn't giving her another piece, even just for one day. She accused me of gatekeeping my mom. She told me she had just as much right to it as I did. I asked her why, when she had her own mom. She told me because everyone knows Dad only ever loved my mom, and her mom is less than second best. And clearly, sharing something from my mom means he loves her, Leah, as an actual daughter, despite him not loving her mom. She wants to feel like I love her as a true sister, and not some half thing that I wish didn't exist. She told me letting her borrow the necklace could show that. I still said no. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. The obvious? It's your property. You have every right to say no for any reason you like. She's a jerk for pressing the matter when your answer was no. Secondly, it's so weird that she wants a piece of jewelry owned by the only woman her dad loved. That's like saying, well, if Dad didn't love her, neither did I. And she might not give it back, and your dad might support her in keeping it. Well, you had it for a while, now it's her turn. Or it might get lost. I wouldn't take the chance. Say, Leah, as my sister, please respect my no. I value you as a sister, so I know you'll understand that I can say no to you. Honestly, your dad is the real idiot in all of this. He's made his current wife and his daughter feel so much less than. Ridiculously so. Can you imagine living with that hanging over you? Not being the deceased first wife? Not being that wife's child? He's truly awful. That being said, absolutely do not loan her the necklace. You won't get it back. And dear old dad will back that up. The reality is that your dad has caused a lot of dysfunction in your relationship with him, your sister, and your stepmom. So much so that you really can't trust any of those relationships. Your sister's coming at it as a shared bond between you, wearing the same jewelry on your wedding days. Still, it won't end that way because she's been taught by your dad that your mom should mean as much to her as her own mom, causing an entitlement that shouldn't exist. It's messy. Therapy required. My husband and I are in a tough spot financially. We bought a house last year and got into debt fixing it up. He also has some properties he rents out on Airbnb and has to make some big expenses to fix up some of his properties this month. We agreed to a 40-60 split on joint expenses when we bought this house, but now he wants me to pick up more of the mortgage payment. I can do that, but for me, that means I have to rebudget my lifestyle to make it work. So I said I would agree to the new mortgage payment split if we can each buy our own food. Most of our grocery list is extras that he buys. I was okay with 40% of $800 a month when we agreed on a split, but now that finances are tighter, this spending category is the biggest place where I can make this work. He got really angry and shouted at me. He said that it feels like we're roommates and that I'm the idiot for balking when I feel financial pressure. I feel like I'm trying to keep my head above water, and I've tried to compromise. We have a joint checking and pay all of our expenses out of it. We agreed on the 40-60 split based on income. Our expenses come out to a little under $7,000 a month, so I direct deposit 40% of it. The Airbnbs are all his business, and we agreed initially that it's all financially his. I help him out with cleaning and moving stuff. Poor guy, stuck between giving up one of his multiple homes or paying for his Pringles and craft beer. If he's struggling to meet his share, why isn't he selling one of his multiple other properties? Do you have a prenup? Is the other property also in your name? Why would you subsidize his properties if you don't own them? It's so heartbreaking to see an Airbnb landlord struggling. Think of what they offer to the community. Turning a residential neighborhood into a commercial one by making a house a hotel, taking housing off the market for people to live in during a housing shortage. The struggle. He needs OP to shoulder more of the burden for his contributions to society, not to mention his net worth. LOL, right? This is classic landlord behavior, making other people pay for their lifestyle. She's doing free labor for him on property she'll see no financial return on if they divorce, but he wants her to make more of a contribution, and that's insane to me. Why are you donating labor to his Airbnb business, whose income is all his? Maybe he needs to pay you, or maybe you need to quit that and get another job to cover expenses. It sounds like you're being taken advantage of. I, 27 female, have been married to my husband, 34, for 5 years. My husband is a devout follower of his religion and has been since he was raised. I respect his beliefs even though I don't share them and have no intention of converting. I was raised in the Christian faith. However, I left when I was an adult due to inappropriate physical abuse in my church, which nobody believed occurred because the one who did it was the pastor. Recently, my husband has been pressuring me to convert to his religion. He says it would bring us closer together and create a more harmonious household. I understand where he's coming from, but I firmly believe that faith is a personal journey. and I shouldn't be forced into something I don't believe in. To add to the issue, my husband, despite his religious teachings, doesn't always practice what he preaches. He expects me to adhere to traditional gender roles, yet he often neglects his own responsibilities at home. He quickly judges others for their actions, even though his faith teaches non-judgment and kindness. He makes comments about gay people that I've discussed with him as a major issue. This hypocrisy has been bothering me for a while. Last night, during another discussion about my potential conversion, I finally snapped. I told him that if he wanted me to consider converting, he needed to set a better example by actually living according to his religion's values. I pointed out that he should start by fulfilling his own responsibilities, making more money than me, and leading in the decision-making. I'm a nurse, and he's currently unemployed after being let go of his job in an office. He should be less judgmental of others because, according to his faith, only God can judge them. I also said he should show more of the virtues Jesus asked of Christians: clothe the naked, feed the hungry, visit the prisoner, aid the orphan and the widow, etc. I also made it clear that while I respect his beliefs, I have no intention of converting unless I genuinely believe in it, which I currently don't because of the hypocritical behavior of his faith. My husband was furious. He accused me of being disrespectful and undermining his faith. He said that I was attacking him personally and that I didn't understand the pressure he was under to have a unified religious household. He left the church this morning at 7 for Bible study, and I've already gotten a phone call from the pastor saying I'm an ungodly woman who tricked a good man into marrying him, and I should repent. I've also gotten a tirade of text and emails from members of his church saying I was disrespectful and being a bad wife, and I'm starting to wonder if I was too harsh, that maybe I shouldn't have said anything at all. Am I the idiot? No, you should have spoken up. I just wonder what story he told the church. My wife pointed out, in completely biblically accurate ways, how I wasn't being a good Christian man and husband. How dare she know more about my beliefs than I do? As long as your husband stays in that church, I don't see a healthy future for your relationship. She's pro-gay. It's gotten really bad. Also, she just doesn't understand the super special, unique reason I don't need to work. This is clearly the devil tempting me. Not the idiot, OP. Even if you were a Christian, you'd worship God, not him. In his faith, he's allowed to get a divorce if his partner leaves him because she doesn't share the faith. There's a chance he's purposely antagonizing you, hoping you'll go. Wait, did he tattle on you to his priest? Tattled and handed out your phone number? That's hilarious. I would have tattled right back to the priest on him. He's not providing for his family, not being a proper head of the family, and forcing you to do all these things. A woman cannot possibly fulfill her role as a godly woman if she's forced to take on the role of the godly man first. Right, Pastor? I know, right? Like a small child going to mom to complain about the big brother's misgivings. Pastor, my wife is picking on me. Take this as your cue to remove your ungodly self from your good Christian husband's orbit through divorce. He will never respect you, and you will never have an equal partnership with him. Divorce this hypocritical idiot and shame him in front of his entire congregation. Let's see how fast a woman from that church is likely to snatch up such a gem.